Alrighty, so I just want to make a little quick video about choosing a scooter. Um, Kind of the process I went through. And one thing I want to start off by saying is usually no matter what I buy, I talk myself into the most expensive of whatever it is. And it doesn't matter if it's a computer, doesn't matter if it's a motorcycle, just some little thing, who knows. Whatever it is, I always convince myself that I need the most expensive thing. So I wanted to buy a scooter, and of course I started off looking at $6,000 scooters like the Dualtrons and stuff. Didn't really think I wanted to spend that much or would, but really was interested in the scooter. And I started looking at some cheaper ones, and I started looking at some $1,000 ones. I was all over the place, just basically kind of looking at everything. And after like a solid 2 months of looking, I figured I was going to end up on something that was about $3,300. And my friends were like, "Don't do it," and this and that. You can get a motorcycle. I just people were like, "Wow, how much for a scooter?" For a reference, it was going to be the Dualtron City. But what happened was I actually injured myself playing basketball, and I hurt my Achilles. And I'm like, all right, I definitely want to get a scooter real quick to get around. Thought I might even bring it to work, but that was too much trouble. But just around the neighborhood, doing little things, whatever, I justified buying a scooter. So I went ahead and I just saw this really cheap one on Amazon, a Segway 9 baht. It's a 1SL, something like that, $299, brand new. And what I'm going to recommend to you is go ahead and start off with this scooter. And it's probably the worst scooter made, probably. But I never had a scooter before. So the first thing I was concerned with was the speed. This thing only goes like maybe 12 miles an hour. Now you got to realize the average walking speed of somebody is probably around 3, maybe a little faster for me. I'm athletic, but you're going literally 4 times the speed of walking. So most people can't even run that fast. So for the average person, for example, my girlfriend, she gets on this thing and this thing's going 12, 13 miles an hour. She's freaking out. So it's plenty fast to have fun around the neighborhood. Now I did put my Bluetooth speaker on it, life jacket jolt, just with some zip ties, no big deal. And honestly, I've been having a blast with this thing, and that's why I said probably stick to something like this at first, because before you spend the money, you have to figure out how long you're going to use it. My buddy bought a $1,000 scooter and he used it for a couple months, and then that was the end of it. So if that happens to you, you're not going to be as concerned having spent $300 having this thing just sit around the house. Now about the scooter, it's actually, like I said, for a cheap one, it's probably seems like a pretty solid build. Has a nice folding mechanism. It's not super heavy. You pick it up with one hand. Tires are pretty hard. This shock here is horrible. You hit a bump on it, it's like it's like you think the thing's gonna break. But I just kind of watch where I'm going, keep it on smooth roads, and when you're cruising down smooth roads, sidewalks, I mean it does the job. It's pretty nice. Like I said, it's got a nice little cruising speed, fast enough that I'm having fun with it around the neighborhood. Now you're not going to want to get on the street. Now this is the same thing as a motorcycle. Where you ride is going to determine how you feel about it. This thing is great for my development. Sometimes I cruise across the street, I go to the next development. It's really nice in that. Now if I wanted to go a couple miles down the street to the store, this is probably not the scooter for that. Now it could do it, if you were in no kind of rush and you just kind of wanted to go for a cruise. But when you start getting out onto the street and stuff, that's when you'll need one of the faster scooters. But yeah, this thing is I think it's a really good value for the money that I spent. It's got a really nice light on it, and that light is bright. Like I said, the wheels, I believe they're just solid. You're not going to worry about any flats or anything like that. The grip tape here is kind of like sandpaper. This is also a brake. Push down on that, it's also a brake. This is a brake. These grips are just foam, whatever. And then how this works, turn it on. The red is the sport mode, and then regular mode, and then one push is the light, so how many times you push it determines what the button does, and then a long push turns it off. It's only in kilometers. I don't think there's any way to change that. Some things I was worried about with a scooter was I always see a lot of reviews where the shaft is like very wobbly. Again, I have no scooter experience. All I can tell you is how I'm feeling about this one, and that's a pretty beefy shaft there, and it seems pretty sturdy. I don't have any issues with it. Like I said, the shock not that great, but I feel like this thing has really good quality for $299. I think it way better quality than I would expect for $299. My zip ties have caused some scraping around here somewhere. I can't see it now, but I have a feeling that this powder coating or whatever it is not the best. It's weird, I can't see it now, but in a different light I saw some kind of scrapes from that. I don't know where it went, but yeah, what I would do is I would start off with this one, and kind of work your way into it and see how often you're going to ride, what you actually do, where you actually want to go, and from there you can move up. This thing does come with a charger. It said charges in about 4 hours. For the most part, that's been true, but I think it was yesterday or the day before. Maybe it's because I didn't run it down all the way, but that thing was charging for hours. Maybe it's my imagination. It seemed like it did last a little bit longer, but I don't know. But not a bad purchase overall. I would stay away from any place that ships things with UPS, though. They're absolute trash. If you get something with FedEx and you miss the delivery, you can just go pick it up at their warehouse. UPS is why they're losing money every year. They don't even know where their warehouse is when you call. I must have called 10 times. I eventually ended up tracking the driver down in the neighborhood and showing him my identification and all my slips, which is probably not ideal, but I mean, it's like, how long do you want to wait for something? It's missing delivery after delivery. If you deliver something every day at like 1 o'clock and they're not there, you might want to take a hint that they can't be there at 1 o'clock. So UPS sucks. And as far as the customer service on this thing, I haven't had to deal with it yet, but I have used Amazon, which, like every product nowadays, the instructions suck. And in the Amazon application, you click on the order and there's a place you can get some support on this thing, because like the light wasn't turning on, it wasn't going, all kind of stuff was going on. I ended up having to just turn the power off and cycle it, and it actually went ahead and restarted everything and started working fine. Initially the headlight wasn't working, but I have a feeling the scooter had to be fully on before the headlight started working. I haven't really figured that out, if it was just that one thing with the reset that fixed everything, but yeah, it's working now. So like I said, so far I'm enjoying it. One thing to be concerned about with scooters is all these things have like cheap batteries in them, and I actually had a smoke alarm added to my regular alarm system, and I leave this thing in the dead center of the room so it doesn't catch anything on fire in the off chance that it does go, which again is probably not normal, but you never know. And I don't want to burn down my house. When I do move up to the next scooter, and what I'm going to recommend to you is go ahead and get something with a removable battery. There's not that many scooters that have it, but there are a few. A couple of them are the Dualtron scooters. You have the Dualtron City, and I think the Thunder. I've seen a couple of these NIU, Q, I don't know what it was, but there's a few out there. I'd recommend taking the battery out when you're not home, and it's going to sound funny, but just pop it in your oven. If the thing explodes, it's not going to affect anything. Be nice and safe in your oven, and just make sure you 1000% put some kind of indicator on your oven in case you live with morons and they don't check the oven before they turn it on, which you should do anyway. Just put your little sticker, your scooter sticker on there, so they do not turn the oven on. And actually, the better scooters, those batteries are going to be worth a couple $1,000s, so they really got to pay attention. Putting it together, this thing was pretty easy. I just had to put on the pole. There's little screws right there. There's 6 little hex screws that came with the appropriate tool. Wasn't bad at all. It was pretty straightforward. Charging ports right here. Comes with the charger. Like I said, for $299, who's complaining? This here's the folding mechanism. Just basically step on it. I think you step on the scooter a little bit and then step on that, and it comes out. Like I said, I've been having fun with it with the Bluetooth speaker, cruising around the neighborhood, jamming out. It lasts a solid half an hour. I don't know how many miles I'm doing or what. I'm not GPSing it or anything like that, but I'm all over the place around here. Again, I wouldn't want to go 10 miles down the road, but just cruising around, it feels like quite a long time of cruising. But yeah, start off with that and then go from there. Alright, that's it. Any questions, let me know.